About that northern border with Lebanon. Apparently about a mile and a half of that area into Israel has been evacuated. They're taking no chances after the skirmishes over the weekend. This is Gaza down here. What I would point out to you is this entire coastline really is an area to watch, whether it's Beirut, Lebanon, or down through Haifa into Tel Aviv and down into the Gaza Strip. And the reason for that is if you get a widening conflict, it's going to come into play. And so what has the USS military done? This is what the U.S. government has done now, already positioned in the Eastern Mediterranean. You've got the USS Gerald Ford. We talked about that last week. Then over the weekend, the USS Eisenhower was deployed out of Virginia. It was expected to leave on Friday, got delayed by a day, but they did set sail on Saturday. So it's going to take some time, maybe upwards of 10 days before it's situated here in the Mediterranean as well. But that's these strike groups, they have 6-10 ships that go with them, and they pack power too. So we'll watch that as we move throughout the day. And for more on that, Dana, we got a good military guest.
We do. Joining us now is former Defense Secretary Mark Esper, author of A Sacred Oath. Excuse me, Bill.
Nope, no problem. Sir, good morning to you, and thank you for your time. What would the posture be for these strike groups in that region?
Yeah, I think first of all, Bill, the posture would be to maintain an active patrol along in the Eastern Mediterranean, prepared to support. I think first of all, the message of their presence is political, to send an assurance to Israel that we got their back, that we're there for them. Second, it's a very strong deterrence message to Iran, to Syria, and to Hezbollah in southern Lebanon, not to do anything, not to open up a second front or a third front. Then third, of course, is it can facilitate other operations, whether it's an evacuation, hostage rescue, you name it. And I might add, when we get back to the fact of opening up other fronts, the ships have incredible capability to deploy munitions, either by aircraft, but also to do anti-ballistic missile engagements from the cruisers and destroyers. And that's another capability that would really come into play should Iran get involved. So very important capabilities and messages being sent by these strike groups.
I'm back with you, Mr. Secretary. The Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, has been in the region for the last 4 days and meeting with Netanyahu today. And I'm curious what you think about the State Department's diplomatic efforts in order to make any sort of action by our military unnecessary.
Look, I think he's been back and forth to the region. I think it's good that he's there sending messages. He's meeting with a lot of the Arab states as well, particularly Saudi Arabia. The word is that he's trying to make sure that the normalization deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel isn't dead, that maybe it's just postponed. I think that's a smart call. My view is that if Hamas started this war, partly because they wanted to foil that deal, and Iran also does not like a normalization deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia, then that's a good reason to pursue it, right? Because what that would mean would be an eventual alignment between Arab states and Israel against Iran. And that's why Tehran is fighting back so hard. So I think all those are good moves. And again, I think the presence of the military, Lloyd Austin going to the region, again, was another strong message of support to the Netanyahu government.
Yeah, I don't know what it says to you, sir, about the fact that these terrorists wore GoPros on their heads when they went into Israel. But clearly they wanted to make sure that people knew about what they were doing in the end would live on for a long time. It's absolutely sickening. With regard to the U.S. military in the Eastern Mediterranean, would any of that, you know, the number of hostages we thought going into the weekend was 150. Today, the Israelis say it could be 199. Regardless, would the U.S. military's presence there be able to assist the Israeli military in locating them?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And we know we have special operators on the ground right now assisting, advising. I think they would be there also if we were able to locate Americans, and maybe we would join the Israelis on such an operation, given that they are our people. But going back to your first point, Bill, the fact that they were wearing GoPros and videoing this and then taking hostages back to Gaza and parading them in the streets, bloodied and bruised and raped, it's just horrific. And your report on the ground showed the weapons that they were bringing. I mean, that was, they're attacking communities, civilians, with infantry assault weapons, RPGs, machine guns, grenades. This was not about attacking a military objective, imposing a military loss on Israel. It was about killing Jews. It was about trying to knock down the state of Israel. And we know that their eventual aim is to destroy Israel. So this is all, part of what we've known for many, many years. And the world is finally getting, unfortunately for the Israelis, a real look at the barbarism and the immorality and everything of Hamas, which is why they need to be defeated once and for all. And again, I sound like a broken record. This all goes back to Iran. Eventually, if you're going to defeat Hamas, you have to figure out a way to take on Iran and cut that stream of funding and support.
Secretary Esper, thank you so much. Great to have you. And Bill, Iran has said that an expansion of the war between Israel and Hamas is, they say, increasingly becoming unavoidable. And you just wonder, though, if you're looking at the sophistication of those weapons, I know they said they were homemade, but they get the funding from somewhere.
Yeah.
And perhaps, I mean, we have to be realistic that we're not trying to expand the war to the United States, but Iran has made decisions and Hamas has made decisions that have led to the torture and mutilation of people through a terrorist act in order to achieve a political means that they are not going to get. So we are in a really big fix on day 10 of this war.
So more questions for the White House this afternoon. I know if you watched John Kirby with Shannon Bream on Fox News Sunday, he was emphatic not a single dime has left that bank in Qatar. But the questions are obvious, and they're still there.